Hi everyone. So I haven't posted videos for quite some time, and in this one I wanted to reflect on this year, the last few months, and um, I think I just want to say first of all, with everything that is perceived to be going on in the world, despite all of the negative, messages that get pushed out because of the agendas. Um, I genuinely do believe in the goodness of most human beings. We all start here the same and we all end the same, pretty much. And I do believe that most human beings are, they just want to do the right thing and they want to, you know, love and be loved. And life really can be that simple. But obviously, we have to work through our own stuff in our own journeys to get to that point, and some of us do. But for me, that's something to always remember. Whenever anything comes along that tries to um, divide us, just remember that we are human beings, and that's first in terms of this world before anything else. So whenever anybody asks me about religion or skin color or nationality or anything else that where there is a division between me and that person, I'm like, not really interested. They're a human being, I'm a human being, and that's what I choose to see first and chiefly. And then from there, it's if that person aligns with me or not. But I won't be compromised on that. Even those that I see as being some of the most damaging people on the planet, like the unelected billionaires, for example, and the ruling class families that people don't tend to hear about. you know for me, they're still a human being, and they need you know my um, forgiveness and compassion as much as anybody else, rather than condemning them, because that only creates separation. And separation in this world is one of the main problems that we have. We're either separating ourselves from ourselves, we're separating ourselves from other people, or through agendas outside of us. The same thing is happening. People are seeking to separate and divide because divide and rule, divide and conquer. So I hope that message was at least a little bit reassuring. So I wanted to talk a little bit in this message. Obviously, I haven't been on here for a while, on any of the platforms really for a while. Very much in my own personal journey of this year. Last year it felt like very much more of a expansion and liberation of old lifestyle and way of doing things, and having a lot more joy and like experiencing new things in life. This year is very much feels like a lot more hard work. There are rewards, but at the same time, it for me certainly it's been a case of facing whatever has been deeply rooted and ingrained within me that has actually been causing a lot of trouble in my life, and repeating patterns and cycles. And like you think you've dealt with something and then it comes back again, and you're like, how am I in this situation again, dealing with this again? And and the amount of work and effort required to heal that and transcend it, and transform it. So whatever the difficulty is that you're going through or have been going through, I'm sure some of you will be, it's like, what can I do with this? This is coming up again because I still need to really get at this and clear it. And obviously there's lots of different levels to work on with that, whether it's the physical level or the emotional or the spiritual. And obviously a lot of that, as people will tell you, goes back to your childhood. The majority of it, usually there'll be stuff in there from your childhood. It's just making that come back again and again in your life and repeat. But then there's also ancestral stuff that can influence, for sure. Stuff that you carry that's not even yours, and you've come here to finally stamp that out, to clear it, to heal it, to release it. So there's great purpose in this work, but a lot of it is about your perspective. So if you've got like I have, like a pain or discomfort in the body that comes along at different points in your life, and you do all this work at different points in your life to heal it, and you're still working on it, it's like, well, what else can I do? You know, what else do I need to look at? How else do I need to approach this? What other help can I get? And, you know, just try and approach it, like take a multi-pronged approach, lots of different levels, you know, like what influences us chiefly, you know, I would, in a normal thinking about your body, for example, would be, well, you know, what are my stressors, you know, like what are my emotional stressors, what are my triggers, you know, what are my stressors with food, which is one of the biggest things that impacts our health and well-being, and that obviously affects our gut, and then that affects our brain and our thought and our feeling about ourselves, our general sense of well-being. I'll do another video on that, because I think that's primarily one of the main reasons why so many people are unhappy. You know, it's what we're putting in our bodies and how much of it is toxic and harmful, and we're told otherwise. So that's a massive subject, but I'll get into that another time. But yeah, and obviously emotions, you know, emotions are huge, and they get hidden inside us, buried deep down inside in our bodies, and then they come out in different ways. And unless we take the time to actually, you know, use different modalities and therapies to heal that stuff, it's just going to keep resurfacing, you know. And I found that for sure. This year, last year, going back a couple of years before that, you know, similar patterns, similar issues, and it's like, shit, man, I've got to deal with this, you know. And just getting up and, you know, while you're going through fear and not necessarily knowing what's going on fully, and trying to investigate and find out, while continually doing this work, it's a lot. It's a lot, but I can see the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Is like, if you really, really commit to this and commit to your well-being, your health, your sovereignty, you know, your harmony with yourself and with life. That's where we're getting to, right? But it's a lot of work. There's a lot of shit to clear out of the way. But you know, that feels to me like a lot of what this year has been about. There is also something definitely for me in this about, you know, when we speak up and when we speak our truth, especially, you know, in these kind of spaces, and where we get passionate about what we believe in, you know, and where we know we have some power and we have some wisdom or knowledge or awareness, and we can plant seeds for others, and we can be helpful to others. Yeah, so much of the time, I've found over the years, every time we take that next step up, or try to, or work, you know, like we're going on to another level to, you know, step into the light more, the dark will always come. You know, some people would say, you know, the devil will always come. You know, you got like an angel on one shoulder and a devil on the other, and it's not to be feared. But it's, you know, obviously people do fear it, right? But like, once you get past that, you realize that the light will always meet dark, you know, and dark will always meet light. And so as we grow, as we go up in frequency, you know, some of what comes to us is going to be dark, and it is going to be impactful. But that has to happen sometimes. So, you know, I've certainly felt that, and there's things that go along with that for me, like at this point, in terms of what I've been through personally, where it's about healing the bloodline, you know, healing, like I said, about the ancestral stuff, so healing the bloodline, clearing karma, and moving more into that 5D, higher frequency way of living, and mopping up and clearing up the lower vibrational 3D aspects that you don't need in your life anymore. And that can involve a lot of letting go, and that can be painful, you know. Like there's so, you know, if you've lived your life a certain way perhaps for decades, and then you realize you just can't live it that way anymore, that can be tough. But you know, I think what we get instead is so much better, but it's pretty grueling at times. So yeah, I think for this video that's what I wanted to cover. But just you know, just heart goes out to you all, and you know, like, seek out help and support if you need it. There'll be more videos, of course, coming, because I've got a lot more to talk about on probably most of the subjects in this video. But it's a pleasure to be back here, and you know, just a reminder, give me a shout if you want some help or you want to collaborate, okay? But otherwise, I wish you a beautiful day, and yeah, keep an eye out for the next video.